Good morning, Matthew. Good morning, everybody. We're continuing our walk around Hyash Farm this morning. It's a bright and breezy morning here at the farm. Little bit of cloud. Most of the frost has come out of the ground, and we're getting right near the end of January. I think it's February, early next week. I think it's Wednesday, the 1st of February. And so we'll be getting lots more light. And I'm starting this morning's walk. Rat is here. He's decided to wrap himself round no less than the gudgeon oak, which is where we finished our walk last week. Matthew, you're now about 5-6 feet tall, and you're doing really well. You've kept some of your leaves on over the winter, just here, just to help keep you warm. But absolutely going to be a stunning young oak tree in future years. So off we go. We're heading down the hill to one of the base of the valleys on Hyash Farm. Lots of rooks flying overhead. I'm getting very excited because it's coming up to the time where they all start bringing sticks into their nesting. There's a rookery over there with about 100 nests in, and one in these venerable old Scots pines behind me of about 40 nests, and some rooks are sitting in the top of those Scots pines over there. A little flock of redwing just behind me as well in one of the hawthorn hedges there. It's about a dozen of them. Really lovely. Some horses grazing on the other side of the road, and a huge tree stump just there in front of us. So that's the Caister oak that fell down about 4 years ago. Just left a venerable stump. It was rather like my waistline, rather large. It was 28 feet 4 inches around the girth at 5 feet above ground level. And there's a big old quarry just the other side of where those horses are standing, where we think the Romans excavated lots of sand and gravel. So successional woodland on my right, literally hundreds and even thousands of young oak, all deposited by jays into the grassland that was here. This is an area of former arable land only in 2006, and already it looks like impenetrable forest. And some of the little shrubs, the different shrubs to identify them, have little labels at the bottom, and that one says dog rose, and covered in thorns all the way up. But in a few weeks' time, a month or two, it will be covered in delightful little pink roses, Rosa canina, the dog rose. Really lovely to see. Now, we're now coming to the bottom of the valley where one of the streams runs, one of the tributaries to the River Tass. Rat's been very good. There he is. His bright blue lead, so I can see where he is if he goes down the rabbit hole. And this is Fox's Grove at Caister St Edmund. A good 30 odd acres of mature woodland, and this area of the woodland, it's in the southwest corner of Fox's Grove. It's about 4 acres. In 1942, when my father came to Hyash Farm, so we're talking quite a number of years ago now, this was a field of barley, and it was right at the end of the agricultural depression, and the soil was rather wet down there, although it's extremely fertile. It was decided just to let it grow, and in fact, so this is early successional woodland, and so I turn round facing the sun now, and this is our modern version of successional woodland. There we are. So we're now entering into Fox's Grove, and you might be surprised to see all this area of woodland on a traditional Norfolk arable farm, and there's a reason for it. Some of the soil is just completely unsuitable for arable production. It's sands and clays all mixed up. Sometimes in a pace you can go from Yarmouth beach sand to heavy boulder clay that you can make good old Norfolk clay block barns out of. And the other reason is, at the base of these valleys, something strange happened at the last ice age, and huge deposits of soil were dropped down from the glaciers on top of the chalk layer. And this is a perfect example of that. What we're looking at in front of us is a river cliff. And believe it or not, that's 70 feet tall and at about a 45-degree angle. And it's nearly a hands and knees job to climb up there. And on the bank of it is one or two venerable old holly trees. And there's a lovely copse of holly just at the top of the hill there. And this side of the hill, which is southwest facing, is the perfect area for one of the fantastic wildflower displays at High Ash Farm, the bluebells, dotted in with early purple orchids and a few wood anemones for good measure. And on my right, this was also an arable field in 1942, and these ash are up there, well, 80, 90 feet tall. Some of them have ivy on. Nuthatch just flew past, and out of the ivy, lots of blue tits, long-tailed tits above my head. A lovely little flock of them, mixed flock at this time of the year. They all seem to get together. Lovely oak tree in front, probably had ivy on since it was 5 feet high, like the gudgeon oak. And it goes right up to the crown in there, and perfect habitat for hibernating butterflies. It's a beautiful morning, these long shadows coming through the woodland, absolutely stunning. Rat's shaking himself. Come on, Rat. Let's see what else we can see. Bluebells are already coming up. There's a green hue on the base of the woodland floor this morning as the bluebells poke through now, venturing forth after that rather rude awakening last week when we had all the frost, which seemed to last forever and a day. Here we go. And I know this little spot here, we've got a lovely clump right by the permissive walk which goes through the woodland, and there's wood anemones here yet to come up. Lovely young holly tree there, another one there, holly shrub if we like to call them, and a semi-mature one there. They love this kind of shaded habitat underneath these venerable old ash trees, many of which now have ash dieback. So I'm always walking through, checking for any that are either unstable or dangerous, but always it's risky walking through woodland, however careful you are about monitoring the health of trees. Branches can come down unexpectedly. Oh, we come out this side of the woodland. We're now on the south side of Fox's Grove. Lovely seat here, and this is a lovely place just to pause for a minute before we continue our walk. This seat is 24 feet long. There's my shadow behind me. There's Rat, who's ventured down to the other side, and this is where the stream comes through to feed to the River Tass. It's quite deep down there, about 8-9 feet down, and he's courting disaster by Rat is walking along the top of a log, rather like a tightrope walker. If he moves to the left, he's got a 10-foot drop, but he's quite robust. Right, I'm just going to sit down for a minute and enjoy the peace and quiet and tranquility of Norfolk at its best.